Hey, what's up you guys? I'm Mina. Welcome to my channel, Mina Reads, and today I'm going to tell you about all of the books that I really loved in 2019. This video hopefully is not going to be too long, but I don't know, hopefully you'll stay to the end. I would appreciate it if you did. Leave me a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new here. I appreciate you so much for clicking. And I also wanted to say, leave me some comments about what books were your favorites of 2019. I would love to know what you read and what you loved and all that good stuff. So let's get right into the video. So the first book that I'm going to tell you guys about is The Romance Book Club by Lisa K. Adams. This book is a second chance romance about this married couple named Gavin and Thea, and Gavin has recently discovered that Thea has been faking orgasms their entire marriage, and he feels really devastated by this information. He doesn't know what to do with himself, and he really handles it poorly. And Thea, who has already been kind of fed up and some resentment has been building within her toward Gavin for a while now, she's just like, fuck it, let's get a divorce. And Gavin really does not want this, so he's trying to figure out a way to rekindle their relationship. So he ends up joining this book club with his friends and teammates. He is a professional baseball player. He ends up joining this book club, and where they're reading a historical romance novel that he's using as a guide to help him woo his wife again. And this book is just it's really funny. It's a bit silly, but it's also really heartwarming, and I just think it was a really interesting way to explore a married relationship and how you can go about like rekindling the love that you have for someone. And I really appreciated this book for that, and I thought it was really unique and funny, so I love this book. But then I have these two books. I want to talk about them at the same time because they are a part of a series. They are book 1 and 2 in the Love Sisters trilogy by Christina C. Jones. So these books, this one is about a girl named Jacqueline and a guy named Caden, and they have like this hate to love thing going on because they meet in a really crazy way. I won't even tell you how they meet because you have to read it to understand like how absurd the whole thing is, but it's so funny. Like, they are hilarious together. They have the best chemistry, and their sexual tension is off the charts. I was smiling throughout the whole thing, and also I'm obsessed with this book cover, so there's also that. And then in this one, this is a second chance romance about two college sweethearts. Years have passed, and they're both social media influencers. He's like an Instagram comedian, and she is a fitness guru. And basically, he decides that he wants to rekindle a relationship with her, and he's been trying to win her back for a while now. And an interesting turn of events, she discovers that she is pregnant, and she doesn't know like when she got pregnant. It's a really like, I didn't know I was pregnant type of moment. And he is like, I love you. I don't care whose baby it is. I'm going to take care of you and the baby. And I just think that was like such an interesting thing to build a romance on. And it was just really cute. And I loved it. I loved the support and the intimacy and the genuine chemistry and love that I could feel between these two characters, and it just felt so right for them to be together. So I love this book as well. So then we have Love from A to Z by S.K. Ali, and this is about two Muslim teens, Adam and Zainab, who meet on a flight to Qatar, and they keep interacting when they get to Qatar, and they basically like fall in love over the course of the novel. And it's really so cute for so many different reasons, but I just love their relationship dynamic, and I loved also the friendship and family dynamics that this book talks about. And additionally, this speaks on having an illness. So Adam, he has multiple sclerosis. He's recently diagnosed, and it's him dealing with that diagnosis and how it is affecting him, and how it's bringing up old grief because his mother had multiple sclerosis and she died from the complications of the disease. And so the book really does a good job of exploring that, and it's really heartbreaking. But also, we talk about Zainab and her experiences as a young Muslim woman who wears hijab, and how that affects how she navigates the world and how the world perceives her, and the various like injustices that she faces specifically because she's a Muslim woman that covers, and I really appreciate those discussions. But I also think that the author did a good job of balancing those very serious topics with a really light and sweet and wonderful romance. So then we have The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang, and this book is about this character named Rin. She is one of the most hardworking protagonists I've ever read in my life. The way that she goes after what she wants, and she is relentless in her journey to get where she wants to be and to gain the power and the skills that she wants and that she needs to survive in her world is just amazing. I really loved this book a lot. I thought that Rin and all of the other characters were really great. I'm obsessed with Naja. I'm obsessed with Katai. I'm obsessed with Jiang. Like, everybody in this book is amazing. And I also think this book does a really good job of talking about war and how fucked up war really is, and how on both sides there can be so many different inhumane actions that go on, discussing how horrible and, you know, traumatic war really is. So in a way that a lot of fantasies don't. I feel like most fantasies kind of gloss over or glorify war in a way, and I think that this did a brilliant job of discussing war in all of its horrific nature. So then we have Laura Dinkys Breaking Up With Me by Mariko Tamaki. This is a graphic novel that I absolutely adored. This is about a young girl named Freddie. She's in a relationship with this girl, Laura Dean, and they have this on and off again relationship. Laura Dean keeps on like cheating on her and breaking up with her, and this book is really about Freddie coming to terms with the fact that she deserves so much better. And I love this graphic novel not only because the art is incredibly stunning, and I think that it's really important to have discussions about how gay relationships can be toxic or abusive and how to recognize signs of that, because I think that sometimes in the LGBT community we kind of gloss over that and we kind of say like, oh, straight people, you know, they have such weird practices, they do such weird things, oh, they're so abusive, you know, things like that, and they make it seem like those kind of relationship dynamics cannot exist in the LGBT community, but they do. So I really appreciated having a book like this for young people to read and to know like you deserve better. Here's some things that you should be on the lookout for. You know, love should not hurt you the way that love hurt Freddie in this, and I just love this book. I think it has some really amazing discussions on a lot of different topics, not just on toxic relationship dynamics, and it just was really beautiful and I recommend it. Then I have The Fever King by Victoria Lee. This book is about a dystopian United States where the states have been broken up in like a really kind of a weird way, but we are in the country of Carolinia, and we are following this character named Noam Alvaro. Noam is bisexual, Jewish, and Latino, and he is the character that's like, I'm gonna save the world, you know, he's that kind of character. But I loved him so much. I love the way that that character archetype was explored, and how it really discusses like you cannot be a child and single-handedly save the world, and how sometimes you need help and you need backup, and sometimes the people you think are helping you are kind of leading you astray. And I think this book has brilliant characterization. The villain in this book is amazing. Like, he is so amazingly developed, and I think the author did a good job of making him be this very charismatic person, and you kind of are drawn into his spell, but you know that he's not good. You can feel it. You feel something icky about him, but you can't help but kind of fall for everything that he says, and it's so interesting to read about. And additionally, I love the relationship between Noam and Dara. They are two very imperfect, complicated teenagers, and I think that their interactions with each other are so fascinating, and I just love this book. I thought the magic system in this was really interesting as well. This book was just really good and super underrated, and I recommend it. So then I have The Kingdom of Copper by S.A. Chakraborty, and this is the sequel to The City of Brass. This book was stunning. It takes place about 5 years after the events of The City of Brass, and I was nervous about such a huge time jump, but this is brilliant. Like, this book is so beautifully written. Both books are brilliantly written, but like, the writing is just so lush and gorgeous that I love every single page that I read. It feels like I want to be in the world. The way that the world building is set up, the way that the magic and the lore of the world is, I just feel like I want to be there. I want to be in Daevabad so bad, and I appreciate that. I love the magic that S.A. Chakraborty was able to create with this series, and I also love these characters. As much as they get on my nerves and they make me so fucking angry, I just love them, and I feel like I can't help but root for them and want them to do better and to grow and be better people. And in this book, there's really a lot of growth and development in here, and I just appreciate this book so much for everything that it did in terms of the characters, the expanding of the world, and everything. It was just beautiful, and I highly recommend this series. I hope some of you guys read it, because this series, in my opinion, is underrated. I know a lot of people have read it, but I feel like they don't talk about it that much. You guys should talk about it. This book is amazing. So then I'm going to talk about Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. This book is about a physicist named Jason Destin, and this is a sci-fi novel, and basically this book is about like parallel universes and how this character Jason, he gets kind of kidnapped from his own universe and tossed into another one, and in that universe he was never married to his wife and he never had his child, and the book follows Jason trying to find his way back to his universe where everything is right with the world and he is a husband and a father. And I love this book because Jason is a character, he so desperately is like in love with his family, and I think that was so beautiful. Like, he really loved his family so much, and I think that seeing that love for his family and how it drove him and motivated him was really beautiful, and I honestly was not expecting it in a sci-fi novel. But this book is really interesting the way it's written. It's a very fast-paced read. It's really cinematic, and it's a bit confusing. It's really a mindfuck, but I loved it, and I thought that it was so good. So then we have Red, White, and Royal Blue, which I'm sure you guys knew was going to show up here. This book by Casey McQuiston is so amazing. It is about these two young men. One is the Prince of England, or the Prince of Wales, and the other is the first son of the United States, and it's set after a fictional 2016 election where a woman named Ellen Claremont Diaz won, and her son Alex Claremont Diaz is the first son. It's about Alex. Alex is amazing. He is just such a force. I love his narration. He's so funny, and I appreciated him so much as a character. Seeing his growth, seeing him decide like what he wants to be when he grows up. He's like in his 20s, but I feel like it was such a good book about Alex's journey of like self-discovery, figuring out what he wants to do with his life, him figuring out his sexuality. He's a bisexual king, absolutely love him. Him figuring out love with Henry. This is a hate to love rom-com, but it's like so heartfelt and heartwarming, and I just loved every aspect of this. I loved the romance between Henry and Alex. I loved the family dynamics, their friendship dynamics. Everything about this book just hit the spot for me, and I loved it, and it was amazing. And I can't wait to read more from this author in the future. She is writing a book about two girls in love, and I don't know all of the details, but like, I'm excited because of how much I love this one. So we have Daisy Jones and the Six, and this book is about a 70s rock band, and it's told in like interview format. These people are being interviewed for like a tell-all documentary type thing where they are going to be discussing why their band broke up at the height of their career. And this book is so interesting to me. I think it's a really interesting like character study. All of these characters are so interesting in the way that they conceptualize this specific period of time in their lives, and they all have such a different perspective. Is so interesting to me, and I just love it. Because of that, I think that the author did an amazing job of making these characters feel so real. They felt like they were real people, and I wanted this band to be real. I wanted to listen to their album when I finished the book. I wanted to, you know, see pictures of them. I wanted to see the photo shoots that the book talked about. I just wanted them to be real. And so I think that the author did an amazing job of that. And the relationships between these characters were just so interesting. I was so engrossed the whole time. And I highly recommend the audiobook if you are going to read this, because I know for a lot of people they said like it was boring or whatever. Honestly, can't relate. I loved it. I was engaged the entire time, and I could not put this book down. So the last book that I'm going to be mentioning is The Weight of the Stars by Kate Ancrum, and this book is about a girl named Ryan Bird, and another girl named Alexandria, and this is about them becoming friends, and it's a really slow burn romance between them, but this is also about them and their sheer passion for like the stars and space. And basically, I don't want to give away too much of what this book is about, because this is kind of like a really slow book. It's definitely like a more of a slice of life kind of book about these two characters, Ryan and Alexandria, and how they go from like being enemies to friends and finally being lovers in a really slow burn romance. And I love the friendships in this. I love the fact that these two girls bond over a mutual love of space. I love the friendship group, like the friend group in this book is amazing. Also, this book was really beautifully written, and I just was obsessed with every line, every page. There was something on it that just made me tear up, and I felt so emotional and so connected to these characters. And it's a really slow burn romance, and it has amazing friendship dynamics and family dynamics. There are a few characters of color in this book. There's also like a side polyamorous parental unit, which I think was so interesting to include. And then we have the two gay girls in love, like we stand. This book was just so good on so many different levels, and I loved it. And I literally sobbed when I finished the book because I didn't want to let these characters go. And the author's note was like so beautiful. I just was sobbing as soon as I finished it. It was just tears. So that book was amazing. And that's all of the books that I wanted to tell you guys about. So I hope I got my points across. I hope you guys understand why I loved all those books, why they meant a lot to me this year. And let me know in the comments what books you read and loved this year. And oh, before I forget, I wanted to mention that I am going to be making a sexiest books of 2019 video and a disappointing reads of 2019 video. So stay tuned for those. Subscribe if you're interested. Turn on the bell, to get post notifications and all that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all soon. Bye, guys.